Yes, everyone, how are we doing? And welcome to the Manchester City versus Manchester United match preview. Derby Day is here. I am back. The international break is over and we're coming back with an absolute banger of a game, arguably the biggest game of the season. It's the Manchester Derby. It's the one that we all look forward to the most, and it's the home leg. And look, I don't know how to feel. I really don't, for multiple reasons. One, coming off the back of an international break, it's always a weird one, that first game back. Second reason, City's start to the season has been an absolute disaster. We just can't win big games at the minute. There's so much to go into. So look, I'm going to discuss everything on this huge game in this video. If you're new to the channel, then make sure you subscribe. I think I'm only 3 away now from 600, so if you can get me to that, it'd be very much appreciated. Of course, this won't be the only video regarding the Manchester Derby out on this YouTube channel over this period. There's 3 videos that I'll be bringing out. That's 6 really, isn't it? But there's 3 videos I'll be bringing out via, or on the Manchester Derby, I should say. Right now, when you're watching the preview for the big game, Sunday after the game, the matchday vlog will be out, and then I will make sure to get the match review out on Monday, probably afternoon, evening time, depending on the result, depending on how excited I get, depending on how miserable I am. I don't know what video that will be. I'm hoping it's a bleeding happy one. I'm hoping I'm buzzing, bouncing off the walls. But yeah, 3 videos on this big game out here on this YouTube channel, so you don't want to be missing it. So make sure you subscribe, and let's get into discussing this big game. I'm bleeding dreading it. Look, Manchester City, we need a win. We need a win for multiple reasons, for loads of reasons. First one, it's Derby Day. That is a good enough reason in itself. We need to show the world, not just City and United, we need to show the world why. We're the pride of Manchester City. We're the pride of Manchester. Manchester's blue. We've got to reaffirm it. We've got to show them once again. Of course, this past decade has shown it more than ever. You know, we've dominated not just Manchester, but the Premier League. This past decade, we've been the best team in the land, in all the world, in all the world. We've been brilliant. Manchester is blue, but these past few games, which is another reason, by the way, that City need to win this game, is our record at the minute against United is awful. The past 3 games we've played them, we've lost. And last season hurt. So you've had the last 3, they've all been terrible. The first one, the FA Cup final, City turned up to it pretty much pissed, with all due respect, you know, coming off the back of our 4th consecutive Premier League title. We weren't up for that. It was a disaster. But last season, City lost and drew to the worst Manchester United side in Premier League history. It isn't good enough. It wasn't good enough. So City needs to win this game. One, to show, just reaffirm, restate that Manchester's blue, and just give them another reason, give them another wake-up call, because we can't be letting them lot get carried away. We can't be letting them lot thinking that they're better than us when they're the worst team of themselves that they've ever been. That ain't happening. Second of all, because, as I said, the results against them lately. And third of all, because of the starts of the season. Look, I know it might feel like a little bit of a time away ago now because of this international break. It came at a bit of a weird time. You know, after just only 3 games of Premier League football, there'd be an international break. But to be fair, it came, in my opinion anyway, at a good time for City. I feel like all the players, especially the ones that would have played anyway, would have been coming into this international break feeling down, feeling a bit gutted off the back of 2 consecutive losses. I hope they were anyway. They better have been, because they were both disasters. They were both disgusting performances. Well, moments in the game anyway. I'm not happy about either of them. So we've put ourselves already in an awful position. 3 points from a possible 9. And you look at this game now, it is non-negotiable. Whether it was United or Burnley, don't care who it is. You've got to win these games. You've got to win these next few games. We've got a big next month or so coming up. You know, there's only, 6 weeks, even less than that, 5 weeks until the next international break. Manchester City can't go into this next international break feeling the way that we did coming into this one, because we may as well just kiss goodbye to the season there and then. We've made it difficult enough for ourselves as it is already. And yeah, we worry. I'm not alone in worrying. That's why I said we. I think a lot of City fans right now are worried. You know, it isn't complete panic stations. It isn't complete meltdown levels. But I think we're entitled to feel a type of worry about what is going on with this team right now, especially with the occasion we've got coming up on Sunday. You know, it's nervy times for Manchester City. Listen, I don't worry about the team we're coming up against. I don't worry about Manchester United. I don't even worry about any of the players. You know, in the past recent years, them as a team haven't been great, but you could look at certain individuals and go, okay, he is a good player, be careful of him, he's a good player. I don't care. I don't care about any United's players, I'm sorry. I just don't. This might come across a little bit arrogant. I don't care if it does. I hate them. Deal with it. I don't care about any United players. I don't worry about them. I just worry about this occasion. And United are just an horrible, weird team that rise to the occasion. Look at them last season. They finished 15th, I'm pretty sure. Was it 15th, 16th, something like that? You know, if the quality at the bottom of the league last season was any better, they'd have been scrapping for relegation. You know, they were a disaster, but managed to take 4 points against us. We got 1 point out of a possible 6 against them last season. They rise to games like this. And we can't allow it. Not anymore. Not anymore. We've got to get a result against them. I can't be doing it. I was speaking to a few people over the international break talking about how I feel like I don't see City win big games anymore. Not big games anyway. And what I class big games as, I've made a few notes on it on our record. I'm on about me, well, City as well anyway, just going and winning big games as it is away. But I'm on about games that I have been to. I feel like the Manchester Derby 2 seasons ago was the last time I went to a game and watched us win a massive game. Let me run you through some of these results, okay? I've already spoken about the three United games. Wembley I went to was a disaster. I went to the home one last season. It was abysmal the way we threw away that game. You know, lost 2-1 to United. I think of Liverpool. Our record with Liverpool in our last 4 games, 2 draws, 2 losses. I went to one of the draws and one of the losses. Arsenal, 2 draws, 2 losses. I went to one of the draws and one of the losses. Oh no, I didn't. I went to 2 of the draws. The 2 draws were Etihad. The 2 losses were away. And next game after that in the Premier League is Arsenal away. And I'm going to it. So it's nervy times. I think of it. And then it's not only the Premier League, to be fair. You know, Champions League knockout stages I would probably class, or what a defining Champions League game anyway, I would class as a big game. The one that comes to mind, of course, Real Madrid, the 2-legged, they were who knocked us out. We lost both games. I went to the home one, we lost that. FA Cup finals, already mentioned United. Palace last year, we lost that. Manchester City, in the big occasions, haven't turned up in recent years. I even think, to be fair, part of it in the treble season, not the treble season, the one after that, the 23-24, this is going just based off memory, I've not researched this part, but if I remember correctly, I feel like we won the league, of course, I remember that, but we picked up points against a lot of the teams that we should be picking up points against. I feel like we still weren't beating Liverpool, we still weren't beating Arsenal away. I don't feel like we did it. I don't know, I'm just memorising here, but I feel like City, especially, as I said, from the games I've been to anyway, the last big game that I remember watching City win was the Manchester Derby in March 2024, 18 months ago. It's been a long time, and I'm coming into this one, going to the Manchester Derby, going to the Arsenal game, genuinely nervous, because what proof have I got from the past 18 months to show that we'll rise to this occasion, you know? So, yeah, I'm worried. Not about Manchester United. I'm worried about Manchester City. I'm worried about us and us not rising to the occasion, because if we'd have beaten Tottenham, especially Brighton, if we'd have beaten Brighton, then maybe you might look at the Arsenal game or the Manchester United game and go, well, I wouldn't even take a draw in any of them. I think City have got to win both, but if we'd have got a draw coming off the back of either of them, in the long run, you might look at it and go, okay, it's not the worst result in the world, but I think a loss in either of them games, and is it too early after 5 Premier League games? I know it sounds mental to say, call it off. The title race, it's over. If City lose one of these games, any one of them, never mind both, or draw both or anything like that, if we don't pick up 6 out of 6, if we pick up 3 out of 6, we've picked up 9 out of 15. Sorry, no, we picked up 6 out of 15, and Liverpool have Burnley next and Everton next. Everton at Anfield as well. 15 out of 15, 6 out of 15, with them looking stronger than us last season, and even more so this season. Look, I'm worried. I spent the first, 7 or 8 minutes of this video just saying how worried I am, but I just am, and I feel like it'll be pretty relatable to you lot watching this now. You know, sometimes I'll come into the new game week, never mind off the back of an international break, but I'll come into a new game week feeling some sort of refresh. You know, we've had a bad result, but a week's past, you know, it's out of sight, out of mind, you forget about it, it's in the past, you've got to move on. And then it just let down again, do you know what I mean? That was the case with the Tottenham-Brighton result anyway, so yeah. Look, I'll finish this little story a bit by saying City have got to win this game for many reasons, more than what I just listed, but from the ones I listed, because it's them lot, because it's the Manchester Derby we've got to win. because of the way that we've not been winning in big games, and because of the starts of the season, City needs... I'm holding up fingers here. You can't even see it, can you? And the third one, because of the start of the season, we've put ourselves in a position now where we need to chase. We're chasing already, which I feel like City normally in title races, I always prefer it when we are chasing, because I feel like it's easier to chase than it is to be in the lead. You know, they've got something to more look. It's easier to look up than it is look behind, if you understand what I'm saying. I don't know if I'm explaining myself really well, but this isn't a title race. You know, we're 3 games into the season, lads. It's not good. It's not good. Now, we're spoken on the fact that I don't really care for the Manchester United team. I think Cunha might be out. Other players might be out. I'm not even going to look. I don't care. You know, I probably won't even look at the lineup on the day. I don't care. In fact, I will for my bet, but I don't care. I'm not bothered. Like, as I said, it depends on City. City will win or lose or draw this game strictly on Manchester City's performance. It's got nothing to do with Manchester United. United could be at the best of the game. That doesn't matter. If City are at the best of the game and United are at the best of the game, City win. So, as long as City play at the top of their abilities, I don't care what United do. I don't care how they set up. I don't care what they're doing. That doesn't bother me. I just worry about City. But when you look at the Manchester City team that we could end up fielding out, it's guesswork, realistically, isn't it? You know, I'm filming this before and posting this before Pep Guardiola's press conference. I think that's going to be an interesting one, a very interesting one. It's one that I think even more so than the first game of the season, us City fans will be looking so attentively to it, thinking, right, who is fit, who's available? Because during this international break, we had so many players pull out before it, so many players pull out during it, players genuinely get injured during it. We don't know who's fit, who isn't. You know, there's some names, and when I get into, you know, in the back end of this video, when I get into naming a lineup that I would start, then as I said, it's just going to be guesswork. But there's question marks. Now, if we talk about some of the question marks, you know, this is what a preview's for, in it, to discuss the game. We'll talk about a few of the question marks I've got. Goalkeeping situation. Donnarumma, of course, arrived at City. He's trained with City now. I want him starting. I know Trafford's been here a few weeks now, and I understand that. He's probably comfortable at the team, and the players have played with him before, and they wouldn't play with Donnarumma yet. None of them, not even in the Italian squad. We don't have any Italians. It's Pep Guardiola's first Italian at City, so it'll be new, but I don't care. I don't care, to be completely honest. You can call it a risk. You can call it a risk for the sake of him not gelling with the team yet, and also for the sake that he's a different type of goalkeeper, very different to Ederson. And I know Trafford was, but Trafford tried to be an Ederson role. I can't envisage Donnarumma doing that. He's so far off that type of goalkeeper, which I'm fine with. I believe that for the position that City are in now, City need a Donnarumma more than we need a James Trafford. Sorry, more than we need an Ederson, I should say. Ederson, for me, has been a luxury goalkeeper. Now, you wouldn't normally describe your goalkeeper as a luxury player. That I feel like City have been the only team in the world, ever, maybe not ever, but at least of recent years in the Premier League of facts to describe them. And people might disagree. I'm just saying that I feel like Ederson has been a luxury player for City because the type of goalkeeper Ederson is, we have been allowed to sort of take a hit on his shot-stopping ability now. I believe Ederson has been a good shot-stopper at his time at City. 100% I believe that. All right, I feel like there's been a false narrative that has been pushed year and year and year that Ederson isn't a good shot-stopper. He isn't good at saving shots, anything like that. He costs us with mistakes, blah, blah, blah. I disagree. Of course, he's had the odd mistake here and there. Every goalkeeper has. Donnarumma will have them. He's a great shot-stopper. I think he's the best in the world at shot-stopping. But he will have a mistake, probably even this season. So that's bound to happen. It's part of football. It's part of goalkeeping. But I feel like a false narrative has been pushed around Ederson in his time at City that he's not a good shot stopper. I think he has been. But I think people have just always compared him to how good he is with the ball at his feet. As far as passing and distribution and making these through balls and these assists and anything like that, it's been a luxury. And we've been able to take the hit on him not being the best in the world or up there with the best in the world at being a shot stopper because of the defence we've had in front of Ederson. Think of Ederson's best years at City. We've had City's best defence. You know, you think you've had Vincent Kompany back end of his time at City where he was still unbelievable, by the way. He finished on a very, very high. I mean, that Leicester goal, 18-19, he finished on a high. We had Otamendi, some of his best years at City. You think a little bit later on, Aymeric Laporte, incredible defender. Nathan Ake's best years at City. Ruben Diaz and John Stones, I'd say best years at City. Look at them now. I believe they can still get back to their best, but they're not playing like it right now, are they? So you'd say it's their best years. You think even fullbacks, João Cancelo, Kyle Walker, you know, and you compare, as I said, look at that defence. Ederson, we've had the luxury of being able to risk not having an unbelievably world-class shot stopper in net. I look at Donnarumma right now, and I look at the defence in front of us, and I look at, on the left, Ryan Aït-Nouri. I like him. A good left-back, but he's better going forward than he is defending, so he's a left-back. Is that a good thing to have? Sorry, let me just move this down a little bit more. Is that a good thing to have? You think of a right-back? You can't think of one. We don't have a right-back. We've got 3 options. Rico Lewis, my favourite option. Rico Lewis, as I said, for me, a midfielder. Mateus Nunes, definitely a midfielder. And Abkadir Kusin as a centre-half. We don't have a right-back. And then when you look at the centre-half, I've just mentioned Ake's best years, in my opinion. It looks like are behind him. Ruben Dias and John Stones are playing nowhere near the ability we've once seen them. We've let Akanji go, but again, he wasn't at the level that we've seen him, for example, treble season with Ederson. And Kusanov's still young. And look, Gavardio's the only one that I look at and go, okay, you've got your best time in current form. And to be fair, is he playing sometimes at left back? So City now, with the defence we've got compared to the best defence we've had at sorry, there's flies here. You know what I'm saying? What's all this about? Is that Etihad, not Old Trafford? What are you doing? Sorry, that threw me off. I seen a fly. But you look at the defence with Donnarumma compared to the defence with Ederson. I think City need a world-class shot stopper now more than we did when we had Ederson, you know? So that's my opinion on the goalkeeping situation. Anyway, for me, Donnarumma should start. Yeah, simple as that. I know it's a risk, I know and everything, but I don't care. Throw him in the deep end. It's Derby Day. He's got the experience to be able to deal with a situation like that. His experience is up there with arguably no other goalkeeper in Europe right now, bar what, Alisson? Seriously, like, or Courtois, sorry, yeah, maybe them two. Like, he's won the Euros with Italy. He's won the Champions League with PSG. He's won titles with PSG. He came through the academy at Milan at 16. He's been playing, I mean, he's 26 now. He's been playing, though, like, first team professional football for, like, 8 or 9 years. Like, I'd start him. Long story short, I'd start him. John Stones is one I'd say I have question marks, of course. He didn't play with England. He travelled with England and then came out and came back to Manchester as a precautionary. I don't know with John Stones. I don't know. I worry. I want John Stones to retire from international football, and I think that's of course from a selfish point of view as a Manchester City fan. I mean, I'm an England fan as well, but I'm more of a City fan. You know, I mean, it's club over country for me, and I look at it and I think, of course, he's not going to retire now. He'd be daft to. There's the World Cup coming up in a year's time, but after that World Cup, I really do hope John Stones retires from international football, because it feels like every time he goes away with England, he picks up an injury. And it just sets him back. He takes 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, and before you know it, he's out of contracts at the end of this year. And there's been no talk of City renewing a deal yet, nothing like that, because I genuinely believe the reason is we're monitoring his fitness situation this season. These past 2 seasons, especially last season, he's really, really struggled more than ever for fitness. His injuries have just been non-stop. Constant little niggles, keeps picking him up, and he's out for a long while when he gets them. So this is a big season for John Stones' future, his World Cup hopes and everything, because Konsa and Gahey were brilliant for England. So yeah, I'm hoping he's playing. I don't know. Of course, we'll have to wait and see what Pep says. I believe he's training, so I just don't know. If he's fit, you're starting. It's as simple as that. You know, you're starting, but I do worry. You know, I can envisage him starting, City taking a risk on him and being dragged off after 20 minutes with some sort of thigh injury or something. So yeah, I hope that's not the case. Moving onwards and upwards of the team, another question mark, Phil Foden. Phil Foden, not just a question mark for this game, but just a question mark in general. I feel like it's a conversation that, as time goes on, people are starting to have about Phil Foden, and that worries me as a man who loves and adores him, because I ain't ready to have no conversations about Phil Foden about that. Is he finished? Is he this? Is he that? Will he get back to his best? I believe in Phil Foden more than I believe in myself, you know. I love Phil Foden, I really do. And I believe 100%, not only can he get back to the level that he was once at, I believe he can exceed that. He just needs a constant run of games. And of course, he'd probably get that. It's just this fitness, it's this injury, it's this ankle problem. Thomas Tuchel's words on Phil Foden I thought were a little bit bizarre, you know, because he was deemed for the Brighton game as not fit. He was training ahead of it, but he was deemed as not fit. So surely Phil Foden's able to play in his derby. You know, if Pep comes out and says he's not fit after a 2-week break, I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on. But Thomas Tuchel's words were like, he needs to find his love back or something like that. And I do find that a little bit concerning. You know, we're talking about a kid here who's a man now, when he's 24, is he? I'm saying a kid, what am I? I'm 20, what am I on about? But, yeah, we're talking about someone who's won everything there is to win at a club level and more. We're talking about club achievements and player achievements. Young Player of the Year, Player of the Year, Champions League, consecutive Premier Leagues, 4 on the bounce, FA Cup, Carabao Cup. The only thing left is England, and of course I'm pushing England aside, and that I don't really care. It's just the words and what Thomas Tuchel said, and of course what Pep said. We know he struggled with personal issues last season. You know, we don't know the depths of that, and we don't really want to. That's his own personal. You know what I mean? Leave that. It's his personal for a reason. But I'm just saying about the player that I see in Phil Foden, the City fan, the kid who's come through the academy, and we all look at it and think, you're living our dream. You're the guy. You've dominated. You're one of the best players in the league. I'm so desperate for Phil Foden to get back to that. I really and truly am. And I look at this situation now that City are in, and I think, this is your opportunity, Phil. This is your opportunity. Like, we've had a pretty poor start to the season. You look at Ryan Cherky, out injured for 2 months, someone who plays in a similar role, a similar play style to Phil Foden. Kevin De Bruyne has now left the club. That playmaker role is crying out for you. It is your time. It is so your time to get this team on your back, on your shoulders, and go, I'm not having the standard slip. I'm not having Liverpool and Arsenal run away from City. We put us back up there, and I believe that he's got the quality to do it 100%. You look at the other top English players that you'd argue that the conversations normally are Phil Foden, Palmer and Saka. Them two are out injured. It's your time. Take advantage while they're out, you know? I believe that City, with the situation that we're in, with how poor we are, with how poor he was last season, and the level that he was the season before, I believe this right now, and especially the next day being Derby Day of all, the Mank lad, the City boy, the one of our own. Right now, this game next, more than ever, is the best opportunity Phil Foden has to just prove the point and say, this is my team. Our standards are not slipping. We're Manchester City. I'm Phil Foden. I'm Stockport Iniesta. This is my team. And him to just have a top performance and just carry this team to a big result. You think of the last time we beat Manchester United, it was the Phil Foden show, that 3-1 at the Etihad. It was the Phil Foden show. He scored a wonder goal. And I 100% back Phil to do it once again. I really, really do. And then there's 2 more players I just want to talk on a little bit more in more depth. It's Omar Marmoush and Erling Haaland. We'll talk about Marmoush first. We'll get the bad news out of the way. He's out for the game. It's as simple as that. You know, I spoke on the fact there's a list of players who have been injured for the international break, or they're just not 100% fit, so you're not risking it. And that, you know, I hope that is the case. I hope it's tactics. I hope it's just them wanting a rest, etc., etc. Marmoush is out. We know that for a fact. You don't hobble about on crutches with a knee brace on a Wednesday evening and play a full 90 minutes of a Manchester derby on Sunday. I don't know the lengths of the injury. Of course, we'll probably find out more in Pep's press conference. I'd worry big time about that. 100%. I'm worried about that. He's a big player for us, Marmoush, and when it's a knee injury, you look at knee injuries in the past, and it's a nervy one. So I'm hoping it's nothing too serious, just a bruise or just a aching or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I didn't fail science. I probably should have, but I was that COVID year. That was fine. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I worry about Marmoush. I do. I think that'll be a big miss for us, especially with Cherky out injured as well. Phil Foden, he needs to be fit. It's another reason. He's got a great opportunity here. And Haaland, more positive news. International break's not good at this point in the season. Not for the fans, even for the players, the clubs, everything. I feel like a lot of the time it's not good. But I feel like it was good for Erling Haaland. 5 goals, 2 assists in his last game. Carry that form, lad. Carry that form into the Manchester derby. Please, 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 please. Because what an opportunity he's got to embarrass United again. A boy of blue. Get revenge for his dad. I mean, we can do this whole conversation every single derby day until he finishes at City in 10 years' time. So, yeah, look, I want to see Haaland. And I think also I spoke about Phil Foden just before, you know, it's an opportunity for him. It's an opportunity for Haaland. Haaland will get chances, regardless of whether Foden plays, Cherky plays, Marmoush plays, and De Bruyne's left, whatever. There's a clear... Of course, we're going to have less creativity right now than we have done in previous seasons. Haaland's going to get less opportunities, I suppose. But you can take them. You've still got to take the ones you get. You know, you can get less, but no matter what, Haaland will get opportunities in this game. We've seen it in the Brighton game. Of course, it wasn't a great performance, but he got opportunities. And we need him to take them. It's as simple as that. We need him to take him. City will, if we start off well, his first chance, he probably could have got a couple more in the Brighton game, like I said. If Haaland's on it, then City can win this game 100%, because Haaland on his own can outscore Manchester United. You look at them, they struggle to score goals. So there's an opportunity for Haaland here to get another hat-trick against them. He's got a good record against them as it is already, hasn't he? So, yeah, as I said, I think the international break would have been good for Haaland, and he's got to be feeling himself now. He's got to be up for it. He's got to be ready for this derby. And you know he loves occasions like this. You've seen it in Arsenal games, Liverpool games, the way he riles up. You know, you see him in Southstand giving it all that, and that. You know what I mean? He feels that he works off the energy, and the energy in the Etihad on Sunday, I've got no doubt will be palpable. So I need the boys to be up for it. And look, when I say that, it isn't just a passing comment that I need the boys to be up for it. I genuinely do. Like, I feel like the importance of these big games, I feel like it's been lost on not just City players, but just top players in the past. I feel like with Liverpool, there's always been a respect there when City and Liverpool have been battling for titles. Even you could argue Arsenal a little bit. You know, there's been a respect there. For Manchester United, there's no need for there to be a respect there because they've been shit. You know, but I feel like the importance of the derby on some players anyway, it's somewhat lost. It's somewhat like, you know, you're seeing him hugging and kissing after the game, and it's just like, I want the players to go into it and do what they need to do after the game, but put in a massive effort. I need him to be nasty, aggression, old school derby, you know, a proper Manchester derby. I feel like when was the last time you seen players wanting to kill each other in a derby? Like, I know this is a fan speaking, and I feel like United fans will say the same, City fans will say the same, and I know it isn't like that for players. They're not fans. It's their jobs, and it's their passions and that. But I still feel like, you know, I want them to want it more than anything. Die for the badge in this game more than ever. The badge you're playing for, the people in the ground you're playing for. Look at last season. Look at the standards slipping. Look at the start to this season. They've got to feel it. And look, as I said, I feel like it'll be palpable in the Etihad. Let me speak on Sunday's game. Of course, there's going to be a bus welcoming. The We Are 1894 group have put a bus welcoming on. I'm gonna make sure I'm there. It's going to be a tight schedule for me on Sunday. This has got nothing to do with the derby, but it's going to be tight for me. But I'm gonna have to make sure I get there 100%. Got to back the boys before it. They're turning off the noise ahead of it, you know, before the players walk out to get the energy going in the Etihad, get the fans in there, get to your seats nice and early, get a good feeling. Even I'm imagining the players now in the tunnel, and you can just hear the stadium full of fans going for it. I remember last season, that 2-1 disaster in this exact game last season. The energy in that first half an hour from Manchester City fans was just insane. It was incredible. It was one of the best atmospheres, if not arguably the best atmosphere last season. It was definitely up there. It was incredible, and the players didn't work off it. And it's a two-way thing, of course. The fans need to get behind the players regardless, but we also need something to work off as well. It can't be this boring, rancid football and getting hit on a counter-attack by United and looking vulnerable every time. The players need to work off it as well, but I'm imagining them in the tunnel, hearing it and feeling it and getting up for it. You're thinking Haaland, you're thinking Foden, you're thinking Ruben Diaz, maybe with the armband on, thinking, look, lads, this is our time. Rodri back. Donnarumma's first game at City, you know, thinking, wow, this is what I'm in for, is it? Yeah, like, it's just, I've got such a nervy feeling about Sunday. I do. On the day, I'm gonna hate it. I hate the Manchester derby up until City are in like a 3-goal lead. I hate it. You know what I mean? Because it means so much to us. But we're gonna have to be up for it. So yeah, the bus welcoming, the energy in the ground, and yeah, this is massive. This is absolutely massive, and we need a win. You know, I don't enjoy, especially where I sit as well. You know, I moved to 114 a couple of seasons ago, and I sit right in the barrier, as you might have seen in my matchday vlogs. I think, well, of course, the only matchday vlog I've got out from being at the Etihad so far this season is Tottenham. And if you see where I sit, it isn't fun if you're losing. It in a big game, not fun. So, yeah, I'm gonna be up for it everyone in that stadium's going to be up for it, red and blue. Both sides will be up for it. You know, this United like to play on this whole thing of, we don't care about City, it's little City. You don't care about City until you're getting pumped by them. And you don't care about City until you're winning. And then it's like a bleeding World Cup final to them. And, look at, you know what I'm saying? So, United will be up for it, City will be up for it. But 50,000 Blues in that stadium, we've got to be on it. We've got to be all over it. And I believe we will be. I just really hoping that players feel it. I'm hoping Pep instills something into them, because slowly but surely, especially this game more than Arsenal, and I don't want to speak too much about Arsenal. I mean, we've got Napoli in between that as well, but leave Arsenal for when, you know what I mean, my preview for that in a week's time. This game, it could get, I don't know what to say this one, it could get toxic. I think it could, more so online. I'm not going to come in here and start being toxic. I think you know me. If you've watched me well enough now, enough times, you know I'm not going to come in here and start slagging off people personally and calling for people to be dropped and just going overboard with anyone and getting toxic. I'm not a toxic person. I mean, the name's Biased Man City fan on here. Biased, I don't know. Happy. Do you know what I mean? Optimistic City fan, but I mean, that's just a bit of a long word, isn't it? So, yeah, I'm not going to be coming on here and, regardless of what happens, calling anyone up extremely. But I feel like with online and you know, with a growth for the club, and it's something I spoke about quite a lot on this channel already in past shows, that I just, Twitter's an evil space, Instagram's an evil space, social media's an evil space, and the scapegoats in certain games. Rico Lewis is a scapegoat, Nunes is a scapegoat, Trafford's been a scapegoat and he's been here for a few weeks. Ruben Diaz, I feel like, is one at the minute. Bernardo Silva's one. Ilkay Gundogan was one while he was here. Ederson was one while he was here. And it's toxic and it's nasty, but I feel like if we come into this off the back of a bad result, if I come in here on Monday after a bad result, I could be speaking about some nasty things that I've seen online. But they're not fans, not proper fans, are they? They're not me and you, but they're evil. And the issue is, that's to the general eye, to the public eye, to the social media eye, the people who aren't in the stadium and just don't pay enough attention. They're the face of the club at times, isn't it? Annoyingly so. It's the view of the club. I don't know what I'm saying now. I'm just getting worked up about the derby. So, yeah, Sunday, 4:30. I'll quickly, just to end this, I will quickly talk about the lineup that I would start. But as I said, I'm just going to have to run through it quickly because I don't know as far as fitness. I don't know what's going to happen. So look, I'd go with Donnarumma in net, like I said. Right back, I'd go with Kusanov. I just would. You know, of course, he's had that little calf problem, but I think it was just a precautionary one. Pep said he was fine after the Brighton game, so I think he'll be fine. And I think of Manchester United, I think of counter-attacks. I think of counter-attacking relegation team football, but it's just who they are. Who we are, mate. So I'd like Kusanov there just for the counter-attacks. He's quick, isn't it? Left back, Vardiol. I would. I know we just signed Nori, but just for this game, I'd like stability, and I think Gvardiol would bring that. I like Gvardiol left back if he's fit, and Stones and Diaz at the back if they're fit. Midfield, Rodri, Tijani Reyners, Phil Foden. On the left, Doku. On the right, Oscar Bob, and up top, Erling Haaland. That's that. That's my team. Let me know yours in the comments. Let me know how you're feeling ahead of the game. And yeah, look, there's going to be a fair bit more Derby Day content over on my TikTok channel, so go and give that a watch or a following already if you're not. This video has been long enough. Yeah, I probably could mention a few more things, but we'll leave it for another day. We'll leave it for TikTok. We'll leave it for game day or whatever, match reaction time, whatever. I don't know. I don't want to go overboard with previews because it's all guesswork, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm giving you that much valuable talk time. So anyway, that's that. As I said at the start of this video, subscribe if you're not already. Keep an eye out on this space because there's preview now, Friday morning, Sunday evening, match day vlog. I'm going to either have a massive smile on my face or possibly very real tears running down my face. And then Monday, the match reaction. So thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. If you're still watching now, 35 minutes into the video, then well done you. Do you know what I mean? I appreciate you more than you believe. So more than you believe. Got on 10 and 5 for Derby Day. Early score predictions: Manchester City 3, Manchester United 1. Let me know yours in the comments. Thanks for watching, and yeah, come on City, Don't let us down. Come on, Man City.